Hi, today I'm going to teach you how to import your photos into Adobe Lightroom. I'm going to teach you two methods. The first method, which is basically taking your images from your memory card and then importing them directly into Adobe Lightroom. I'm going to teach you the second methodology, which is the more efficient of the two, which will require you to cull your images before you import them into Lightroom. If you've never used Lightroom before, you will quickly learn that it is not a very fast software. And so by removing the culling process out of that step, it will significantly speed up your workflow and also remove a lot of frustration. Let's get started. So the first step essentially is to open Adobe Lightroom. So we're going to give it a second to load. So my memory card is already in my computer, so it should automatically pick up the card and start analyzing it and realize there are new photos that I'm trying to import. Adobe Lightroom can quickly discern old photos that you've already imported and new photos. Anytime I import my images into Adobe Lightroom, it creates a catalog and it'll recognize the name if they're old images. So Adobe Lightroom is obviously open now. So these are images that I was editing earlier. So now I'm going to click on File, and you're going to scroll down to Import. And so now it's going to ask me to choose where I want to import the images from. There is an external hard drive that's already plugged into my computer. So it'll give you several options where to import it from. So if you look to the left of the screen, you can import it from the local disk, so the computer itself, the USB drive, and then One Touch, which is my external hard drive. When I import my images, I don't import them directly into my computer. I actually edit out of my external hard drive. I find that it speeds up the computer. It gives it less things to work on, I believe. And then there's just less images bogging down my computer, my hard drive essentially. So I usually will work off of an external hard drive. So the images I'm uploading, I guess, or importing are from the USB drive. These are photos from this Christmas. They're family photos, and so it picked up that there are 270 images in this memory card, and then there are obviously some film, some videos. So you want to uncheck all those that you don't want to import. So I highlighted all of those that have that camera logo or icon. And then anytime you are importing images into Adobe Lightroom, you want to build smart previews. So you want to basically have this particular box checked off. Smart previews are basically copies of your photos, and it's faster for Adobe Lightroom to display smart previews while you're editing. It just makes things a little bit more efficient for the system. It also duplicates your photos. So if you ever suffer from a card failure and you've already imported your images, know that Adobe Lightroom would have smart previews, which are generally decent quality enough that you can edit them and then deliver them to your client. Unless they're pixel peepers, they typically won't know the difference whether you're delivering an actual image from a raw file or you're delivering an image from a smart preview. All right, so then before you import them, the Adobe gives you the option to choose the folder in which you're going to import them. So right now it's giving me the option to import them to the local disk, which is my computer, or I can scroll down and then import them into my external hard drive. And so I'm going to import them directly into my computer. I'm a wedding photographer, so I usually deal with a lot of images on a regular basis. And then if I were to import them directly to my computer, it would really eat up the memory space. But this is just our Christmas photos. There's only 270 images, so it's not a big deal. I'll import them directly into my picture folder on my computer. So it will create a subfolder with the date. And it knows these images were taken on Christmas Day, so December 25th, 2023. And there's 252 images. It also in the memory card, there are some pictures that were taken at the beginning of December, so it knows also that there are some pictures from I believe when we set up our Christmas tree. So it's creating two folders for those different dates. Then all you have to do is click on import, and I will do that now. And so it's going to import both the images, and then it will build the smart preview at the same time. So as I was saying in my intro, Adobe Lightroom is not a fast moving software. So this will take quite a bit of time. On a typical wedding, I would be importing close to 4,000 photos. So I usually will import my images and then essentially go do something else for at least a good 20 minutes, half hour while it works on that. I don't even use the computer during that time because it requires a lot of, processing power. So I just leave the computer alone while I do that. But for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to pause this particular process, and then this essentially concludes the standard way in which you import a photo into Adobe Lightroom. There is not much more to it. You plug in your memory card, and then you choose whether or not you want smart previews. Adobe Lightroom will typically choose a folder for you, and it imports the images, and then you can work off of them. So I stopped importing the images at the time. It was at 14 photos. So I'm clicking yes, and so there are the images. So it's just a matter of now clicking the pictures and then choosing those that you want to cull. We're not going to cull today, but there are your photos now. If you want to edit them, you just go into the develop module and you just basically start doing your thing. So this is the standard way of importing photos into Adobe Lightroom. Now I'm going to show you how to import them the second way, which is the much faster way. So I'm going to go ahead and close Adobe Lightroom. It's going to require you to use another software this time around. If you've never used the software called Photo Mechanic, it's a software that you basically buy separate. It is one of the rare companies that don't have a subscription model where you pay on a monthly basis. I like that. You just pay one time and you own the software, and that's that. So Photo Mechanic, which you see here, it cost about $139 Canadian as of today, and it is an absolute gem. So Photo Mechanic exists to speed up your culling process, essentially. And when you're dealing with a large number of images, I'm talking about like in the thousands, trying to do that into Adobe Lightroom is going to really eat up a lot of your valuable time. It's not very efficient. It's a very frustrating process. Moving from one photo to the other can take anywhere between 3 and 5 seconds. I have a very powerful computer, so I don't think it's my hardware that's the problem. The majority of photographers that I know don't cull into Adobe Lightroom for that reason. And that's why Photo Mechanic exists. It's really a fast way to cull your images. So by using this software, what you essentially are doing is you're culling your pictures. So you plug in your memory card, which it is right now, and then you basically choose those images that you want to edit. Therefore, you don't actually have to you don't have to import all the images before you cull. So choosing those that you know you're going to keep, you basically color grade them, and then excuse me, not color grade them, but color rate them. And by doing that, you're only bringing those photos that you really will edit, and then you just basically quickly apply your presets, do your thing, and then export them and delivering them. That's the power of Photo Mechanic. It makes the reason why I'm bringing up this software, which is part of the culling process, into the demonstration for importing, is because it really is a step that needs to happen. As you work with a lot of files and a lot of clients, you really want to save your time and speed up your delivery process, if you will. So I'm just going to go ahead and demonstrate how Photo Mechanic works. So now that I've opened the software, it's going to ask you where are the images stored. So they're on my memory card. So then I'm going to go to my PC, and then I'm going to identify that the images are on my USB key, my card reader, my memory card. Now Adobe Lightroom, when you do import photos like we did earlier, what it does, it ejects your memory card. So now I'm just gonna have to take a second to basically unplug my card reader with the card in it and plug it back in, and then we'll continue the demonstration. All right, so I replugged my card reader with the memory card that has the photos that we're going to be importing today. So I've opened Photo Mechanic. It recognized that there is a memory card in there. So it's USB drive D. So I'm going to go ahead and click it. I'm going to click the folder where I want to import these images from. So we'll pick 667, the Fuji folder. You'll notice that it doesn't show you any pictures here, but all you're doing is identifying the folders where the photos are. So we're going to go ahead and select the folder. And as you can see, here are our Christmas photos. And so basically now we're culling. So I'm going to show you how to do that quickly. You can go ahead and click on basically the first picture, and increase the size so you can quickly gauge whether this is a photo you want to keep. So these images look like they're in relatively sharp focus, so this would be a keeper. And so I will typically give them a rating of 5. So I'm going to keep photo number 1, and you'll notice that it gives it a purple color here. So 5 essentially means that I've always use the highest rating per se. You usually will typically rate a picture from 1 to 5. 5 to me means I'm going to keep it. It's a keeper. So I quickly scroll through the photos. You can see how quickly it moves through the images. So I'm going to keep this one as well for the sake of demonstration. And then these photos clearly are out of focus, so we'll just skip over them. And then we'll pick these 3. So now I'm going to go ahead and exit that module. These are the 3 pictures that we've selected, and now we're going to essentially filter them, those photos that are tagged. So basically rating I believe is where you go. Hold on one sec. Color class, color class is where you will go. So now all of the images that we've decided to pick, they're now at the top of the catalog. So I'm just going to highlight all 4 that I want to keep, and I'm going to right click here, and I'm going to rename the photos. I'm going to call them Christmas keepers. You could choose to do whatever you want. Christmas keepers. Okay, so now it basically renames them. Okay, and so now what we're going to do is the photos have not moved out of that memory card. All it did is just basically show them to me quickly, and then allowed me to add metadata, which is basically the rating guide. And so now the photos are there. I'm going to go ahead and close it. Okay, now we're going to go back into Adobe Lightroom. We're going to give it a second. So we're now back into Adobe Lightroom. As you can observe, open the catalog that we originally imported those photos. So here are the 14 images from earlier. What you want to do now is actually import the images that we've quote unquote culled. So you're going to go back to the import module inside Lightroom. So now it's going to read the card reader with the images with the memory card from essentially Christmas. So here are all the images one more time. As you recall, I renamed them on purpose. That way it doesn't have the label that the camera automatically assigns. And so here are the 4 photos. They're labeled Christmas Keepers. And those are the images that I'm essentially importing. So what you want to do is you want to click on all the photos and uncheck. So now I don't want any of these images. I just want the 4 that I culled. And then we're going to go ahead and click on import. And now all we're doing is importing those 4 pictures. And you didn't have to import every single image in your memory card. It saves you a significant amount of time. And it really prevents your computer to be bogged down with too much data. Basically, that's the whole point. So now Adobe Lightroom built 4 smart previews for us. And I can just go ahead and start editing my images. And basically, we're done importing. Congratulations, you now know how to import your photos into Adobe Lightroom. The next step into your photography journey is learning how to properly edit your images. And the most basic step in the editing process is how to properly expose your images. And if you want to learn how to do that, I have a video right here. So click on that next. And then if you like this kind of content, I'm going to be releasing more tutorials. And the next step is how to white balance your images. So if you want to watch that video, please hit the like and subscribe button and you will be notified when it's released. Thank you for watching and have a good night.